So the next part 3 then, the flam rudiments. Flams, of course, are extremely important. Technical item. They occur in all styles of snare drum at least, and it's an embellished single note with it's a fattened up single accent. It's just to make a bigger sound, to make a fatter, wider sound with some texture to it. I would call it an articulation rather than a sticking or a rudiment. Even it's more of an articulation. That's the musical effect is of an articulation. So I would be doing those alternating as is shown there, and also same-handed, all right hand, all left hand. You know, the motion that goes into them with a downstroke and an upstroke is very important. It's a good form for learning that kind of thing. So and it's a thing that disciplines your hands. It's a technical form of movement that will help discipline your hands. So that's if no other reason, that's why you do it. You can do your flams rock and roll style, as I do too, when I'm doing that music. But for technical training, for improving your hands, do them the correct way with downstrokes and upstrokes, a little note and a big note. So number 21 then is a flam accent. They just call it flam accent. It's actually a flam accent number 1. There is a flam accent number 2. But here it's just flam accent, which is a flammed triplet. I don't necessarily use these a lot in my normal drum set playing directly, but it's a really good rudiment for just, again, for training your hands, conditioning your hands. And I'll use it as often as not, repeating the same hand, the left-handed flam accent repeating. You could work out your right-handed flam accent repeating. It becomes more like almost what they're calling a herta now. It's virtually the same thing. And I do that a lot, actually. I think it's very worthwhile. Worth really spending time with your flam accents. Make that a regular thing. The flam tap, 16th notes, or flams with doubles, flammed doubles, we could call it. It's another rudiment. Again, it's an inherently kind of weak motion in there, where each hand is doing accent, middle note, little note, da dee dee, da dee dee. That's the motion for each hand, which is kind of a weak motion, and that to me it's sort of a soft rudiment that way. I tend to like rudiments that have more structure to them, that give your hands something very, very deliberate to do. And flam tap is good for speed. It's easy to play fast, but it's also just inherently a little bit weak, and so I never get that excited about it. The flam accent is inherently a very strongly structured accent. The repeating flam accent especially is really strongly structured, and that gets your hands working to do a certain thing. The next thing, a flamacue, is really well structured. Your hands have a very defined thing to be conditioned by doing that. It's not that soft, weak ba 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 dee dee ba da ba da. That it's just weak. Don't dig it. The flam accent number 2, incidentally, that we're pretending doesn't exist anymore, is actually a swung flammed double. Brat 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 brat. And it kind of, I noted in the original piece about this on Cruise Ship Drummer, I noted that it kind of, they're disguising the origin of these things from when all of drumming was playing marches in 2/4 time or marches in 6/8 time, and at that point in time, a flam accent number 2 would be an essential rudiment, and now it's just They've just kind of, it's a dirty secret, little cornball dirty secret rudiment that doesn't need to be included anymore. Anywho, moving on, flamacue. This is seems a really distinctively American rudiment. I don't know if it is, but it is to me. It's got that little syncopated, kick on the E of the beat, that really, again, it's very good conditioning for your hand, your left hand, if you're doing them in the normal form they occur in the rudimental pieces. You have to do that quick upstroke with the left. That is very good to develop. So I like those a lot. You can invert those into 6/8, and you have a really good way of practicing your shuffle rhythms, shuffle technique. So you'd be doing that as with the opening flam as a pickup, and that left hand accent as on the beat. You could put it on beat 2 would be even more helpful. So you're going. So that's your left hand while doing that is playing a shuffle rhythm. So good way to work that out. I've written about that on the site too. It's something called Shuffle Strategies, I think is the name of the post on Cruise Ship Drummer. The next one, the flam paradiddle, I really despise. Is both the form of it is very weak, and it's also an impossible rudiment, because we've got, if you take a look at it, your page, at the end of beat 1, right, left, right, right, right again for the grace note for the flam on 2, and then another right. You got 4 rights, and the third one has to be a grace note to do it correctly. Same thing when you come around to the beginning. Left, 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 left. Middle left is a grace note. At any kind of speed, that ain't going to happen. It's just not. You don't do it. You can't do it. So it's a lie. It's a lie in rudiment form. The lie is, I am playable correctly. And it really isn't. And that's the kind of thing that bugs me. And that's my problem, but that's the kind of stuff that I don't want to see. You still learn it, you still try and do it, but just don't beat yourself too much up too much if you can't get that grace note lower. Just play 4 even notes there and get on with your life, because it's inherently false. So the heck with it. You can see on Cruise Ship Drummer, there's a page of, I think it's an alternating flam rudiments tree, and it connects all these flam rudiments together in a kind of a logical order. Connects them. These are alternating flams with a double flam taps. Put a note in the middle. You've got flam accent number 1. Double the first note and put it in a 16th timing. You've got a windmill. Double the middle note in the 16th timing. You've got a thing I call, unnamed awesome rudiment, because it is, and it's unnamed and it's awesome, and that's what I call it. Put the double at the end. You've got a flamadiddle. So it kind of covers that and connects them in a way that I haven't really seen before. So you're learning similar one broad movement, and then making small changes to that. And I like dealing with them that way. You can learn, half a dozen rudiments all at once, and just by a small change in perspective on them. The flammed windmill is one of them. It has the double at the beginning of the beat. Basically a flam paradiddle inversion with the double on the 1E and the 2E. And again, these move really easy. They're easy to play fast. They're semi-weak, if we're, in my terminology, with the flammed double, but that's okay. I mean, the double is a little bit buried under the first note, the opening flam, so it doesn't sound weak necessarily. They're easy to play fast. and uh, I don't care for the way they sit on the drums necessarily, and the weakness of them doesn't, I'm not drawn to see how fast I can get things for the most part. Um, I don't need to exploit the fastness possibilities of a windmill. I don't really care that much. I do them to condition my hands. Some of them are useful as vocabulary, and I haven't really found a lot of particular great utility in that one, or in the paradiddle inversion that underlies that right right left right left left right left. It's just, again, for me, it doesn't sit that in a way I want on the drums, or I haven't had a form to with it to develop that at all. It just never, when I practice, I work with these things, and they all generate ideas. You play a paradiddle on the drums, and you get an idea of what to do with it, and that was just never a very fertile one. And that pattern is not a never got much out of it. It didn't develop anything. So maybe it will. I'm young yet, so maybe something will happen. Flam paradiddle-diddle, which are okay, I guess. I mean, it's weird in that, like, a normal paradiddle-diddle is repeats on the same hand. These switch hands, which is it's structurally strong, but it is severely limiting on the speed you can play it, I think, which is okay. But I'm never real drawn to it. So no reason not to learn it though. Pataflafla, which I'd like to hear a European person pronounce that, because it's a European term. The pata is the two inside notes, and the fla are the two flams. So they've named it starting on the E of the beat, which is really weird of them to do that, but who am I to judge? This rudiment I really like. I do this a lot. Just, again, structurally strong. It's a very powerful sounding rudiment. I don't play it a lot when I'm playing, but I practice it all the time. It's the kind of structure I like in a rudiment, where your hands are having to work a certain way. It's not super inhibiting of speed, but it's not going to be as fast as some of the others, just because of that strong structure to it. You really have to get quick with some certain kind of finessed movements to get it extremely fast. I do them all the time. It's just it's kind of a macho rudiment. It's, to me, it's a power rudiment. Swiss Army triplet, flammed 6 tuplets, right right left right right left, or left left right left left right with the flam at the beginning. Again, very inherently weak rudiment. Easy to play fast. Probably I think people will use those to develop their open rolls. I imagine it's great for that. I never have particularly messed with that. But it's again, I think for most playing, it's really a drum corps item. I've never encountered them outside of that. I never particularly had a need for it anywhere else other than just playing snare drum, written out snare drum solos. So it has a purpose. Somebody could use that in developing open rolls. So it's cool. Whatever. It's good. Inverted flam tap. I don't know if this is the same as what we were calling tap flams at some point. Don't care. These are good for another structurally strong rudiment. You have to really work. It really does work your hands. I've never really messed with them a whole lot, because my hands kind of do what I want that way already. It's a little brutal in that respect. You really kind of have to beat your hands up a little bit, making those accents. A little note and an accent actually, each the motion is 2 little notes and then the accent. and that's a little bit rough. Um, no reason not to do it though. I just don't happen to. I'm not that diligent a person about getting all these, working these up to, to I do them at normal music speeds and enough to challenge myself certainly, but I'm not lightning chops with any of these. I'm sure there's any number of 17-year-olds doing drum corps who would smoke me on all of these, and it's fine. It's not. I'm a musician, and I don't need to have my rudiments that together. Um, More concerned with musical content, playing. Um, but Number 30, the flam drag. This was always a real this was our idea of a very elite rudiment in drum corps days, mainly because they were the bigger drum lines would do them. They were hard to clean, so they would often get cut. They get watered down in the over the course of a marching competitive season. But we always felt it was sort of an elite thing, so I made a point of learning them and learning to play them pretty good. I'm not always as fast as I could be with them. They'll ebb and flow with the state of my chops, but mostly I do them a lot. So flam rudiments, I think those are all worthwhile, really. And I don't necessarily know if there's, other than what I've mentioned, I don't know if there's any great need to do them in other forms. They're all pretty much as written, although you want to be doing them in context or in the form of at least a larger exercise than just the repeating rudiment itself. See you next time. Thanks. Go to cruiseshipdrummer.com. Follow me on YouTube.